Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, get all the updates. Pretty excited for today's beer. I did have this as part of a flight, and I thought it was a pretty good, fine, somewhere in that realm. A couple people were like, uh, basically, like, give another, another shot, give another chance. And I decided I was going to actually sit on this for a while, but I decided to do a review right now since I've done the reviews of all the other beers I was able to get for this year for Bourbon County. So here we go. It's Cheri. Actually, before I pour it, I'll pour it first and I'll talk about it in case there's a lot of foam. So I'm a teacher and had a snow day today, so been dealing with all that snow. So if I seem a little disheveled, it's from all the shoveling. And see, good thing I poured it just over 2 fingers ahead. Jeez. All right, so yeah, Goose Island, Bourbon County brand Cheri Stout. Stout, which is like my darling in French. Stout aged in bourbon barrels with cherries, granola, oats, brown sugar, and 100% natural flavor added. I'm never a fan of natural flavor added. Tell me what's in my drink. Aromas, and I believe it's 2 different kinds of cherries. I think it's like a tart cherry and a sweet cherry, if I remember correctly. Aromas of amaretto, expanded to flavors of oats, cherry, and chocolate with a silky finish. 14.1% ABV, and it was bottled on the 25th of August this year. And then this is something I thought was interesting. Develops in the bottle for 5 years. Cafe de Olla says 2 years. So I was looking at the different variants I had for 2019 and that I still have from 2018. And Midnight Orange is the only other one that says 2 years. And they both have orange in it, so I'm wondering if Goose Island realizes that the orange fades relatively quickly, and that's why they're saying it's best, like you should drink those within 2 years, whereas all the other versions and variants are saying 5 years. So that's my thought. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but I just thought that was interesting. Probably have a clean glass on camera. Yeah, it looks like Bourbon County. It's dark black. There's some dark brown. The very bottom, I see a little bit dark brown. You saw how much head there was. It's gone down pretty good. That mocha color. Now there's just a little like layer of bubbles above the liquid itself, and I think those are starting to pop and they'll be going away. Let's get into the aroma. I can see how it has cherries in it, and maybe it's because of having some other things going on. It kind of comes across jammy, actually. It's probably because that Cafe de Olla has that cinnamon in it. That I kind of wish this had a little bit of cinnamon in it. Of course, the granola, I guess, in theory, could have some spices with it. I don't know what kind of granola they're using. If it's just plain granola. But maybe it's the brown sugar. That's what you obviously could tell as rereading the front. So maybe, yeah, with the cherries with the additional brown sugar is why it's coming across kind of jammy. So it's got that fruit, but that sweetness is there as well. A little bit of tartness, which is making it more interesting. And then very dark chocolate. And sometimes I think dark chocolate can have a little bit of a berry note, raspberry kind of a thing. And I'm getting some of that as well. It might be a mix of the roast and the cherry make me think raspberry. I will say this. I just pulled this off the shelf. It's probably like 60, 61 degrees in my basement right now. So that's what the temperature is. When I had this, I was not a huge fan of it when I did it as part of that flight. And I think it was a little cold when I had it, maybe, because I'm getting a lot more of the aroma now, which has me hopeful for the taste. Well, one way to find out. Cheers. On the first sip, I do like it better than I did when I had it as part of that flight. It's kind of like the cafe, where I'm losing some of the bourbon because of the adjuncts. So, like, I love the regular Bourbon County, just the only adjunct being the barrel and the wetness and the spirits of that barrel. So since you lose some of that, that's kind of a negative for me. But the flavors that are coming through do lend itself actually pretty nicely. Let me take another swig and I'll start explaining it more. Kind of like the cafe, you can tell there's sugar added, so it's a little sweeter than your normal Bourbon County. And again, I'm pretty sure the cherries, it's tart and also like just regular sweet cherries. There's a little bit of a tartness, and you almost get a little bit of like, it's like more like cherry juice than just the taste of cherry. Because there's some alcohol taste with the cherry, I gotta say, a little medicinal. I could see that putting people off. And I mean, a couple sips in, it's not putting me off, but I could see how that would put some people off. I think it's supposed to kind of be like a cherry cobbler thing, and that's where, I don't know, I've never made a cherry cobbler. I don't remember the last time I had a cobbler, but I assume there's like some cinnamon or some other things going on besides granola, oats and cherries. So in terms of me thinking full on cobbler, I'm not quite there. That brown sugar is definitely part of it, so that was a smart addition. But I don't know if it's quite getting to that level they wanted, or maybe this is a level. How do I know? Now I'm getting even more dark chocolate in the aroma. I gotta go back to that raspberry jammy thing too. I'm going to keep this as my least favorite of the ones I've tried for 2019. But I will say this, it is better than I thought when I did it as part of a flight. So maybe it was temperature, maybe it was order of how I was drinking things on the flight. I doubt the, draft versus bottle is that big of a difference. If usually, right, if anything, it's better on draft, but... Like I was saying, because of the adjuncts, you're losing a little bit of the bourbon, but there is that sweetness there. So, and some of that, and I said the same thing, I think it was in the cafe. Or maybe it was a wheat wine, or maybe both. That added sweetness makes it like a bourbon-y sweetness. So it's not straight bourbon, but it's like a bourbon, like if bourbon was in like an icing on a, frosting or whatever, like on a cake. And like that's that sweet, but like, oh yeah, bourbon can really lend itself to a sweet quality, so it's kind of like that. It'd be interesting to drink the rest of this. That chocolate's nice, and if it wasn't for that chocolate, especially in the finish, I probably wouldn't like it. Yeah, I mean, flavors of oats, cherry, and chocolate. I mean, again, I think that chocolate is definitely, I'm glad they mentioned it, and I do think that's kind of a saving grace with this. Yeah, I mean, I have one more bottle. I was going to maybe trade it or something, but maybe I will save it and age it for a year or something, just see what happens with this beer. I mean, again, they say it develops for 5 years. Maybe I'll age it for a long time. But, yeah, being my least favorite of the ones I've had, really curious what people have to say about this. Where do you think it ranks, or is it higher than mine if you've had multiple of the variants and stuff, or is it lower? Like, have you had any other variants and thought it was worse? But yeah, I mean, the other ones were just so much better. I mean, every single one of those was so much better than this one. So yeah, I'm a little disappointed. But like I said, it's better than I was thinking when I had it on the flight, so that's something. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below. I'm starting to ramble, which means I need to wrap this up. Check me out on Instagram and Untapped. It's No Hype Beer Reviews at both those places. So please like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.